So look, I was thinking to myself, right, where did this story start? Where did the multiple characters playthrough come from? Well, I always played as this guy, Centauros. And the story just never really worked for me. You know, through the perspective of doing everything, from the guilds to the Civil War, none of it I could make sense of his character. I don't like missing out on things. Like, sure, you'd think his character would easily kill Astrid and put the Dark Brotherhood to the sword. I didn't want to miss out on the quest or the items. Or the storytelling. So, the idea with that was like being possessed by a dark evil spirit, which was pretty basic and boring. And to kill his own emperor, join the companions maybe after the Civil War. But all these things kind of interject and cross each other out. Like, the idea was he was an Imperial soldier fighting in the war and winning the war when the dragons finally turned up. And lo and behold, he was the Dragonborn. So that was kind of put on hold. And he had to go around and do all this crap. And then it really got to the point which really boiled down to me where I did not like my storytelling. And that was the Thalmor ambassador sort of quest line. Here I am, a known Imperial soldier, walking to their base, stealing their information, killing their personnel, and freeing their prisoners. That is major espionage. That's an act of war, especially while you're an Imperial soldier and a known one. Hell, you could be a legate or a prefect by then. So, that never sat well with me. It's like, how am I going to get back to the Civil War after this? There's no way in hell's hope that once the dragons are done, that the Thalmor, the Old Merry Dominion, is going to let a Dragonborn that actively killed their personnel as an Imperial be standing. Like, they're going to go after this shit like a vendetta. Like, there's no way. They're going to want him imprisoned. They're going to want the Empire to hand him over. You know, it was an act of war. We must have him for the penalties of this act of war. They've got the Dragonborn, then they kill him. Because the last thing they need is another goddamn Dragonborn in the Empire. The last one put the first the second Old Merry Dominion in the ground. The ones from ESO. And that was Tiber Septim. That basically controlled, or battled him and took control. And that's probably half the reason why they hate Talos. Because Tiber Septim put the Dominion in the dirt. So, it has never really sat well with me at all. Like, I could just never get over the viewpoint, like, what am I going to do after that? Do I just stop doing the Civil War? Because there's no way in hell that anyone with the enemy faction would allow that person to go back to fight for their empire. Because they want the War of Skyrim to keep going. They want to bleed the Empire's resources. There's no way in hell they're going to want this person to fix that problem, and this person being a Dragonborn that went into their building as an Imperial person, Imperial soldier, and killed their people. Major act of war. They would light the roof on fire within the Empire to get this person arrested for goodwill. So, that kind of stopped then and there. I thought about it, I was like, what if I have another character? What if I play another Dragonborn? And I didn't like that idea. I wanted to play Centauros. So, yeah, I was like, I don't want to play a Nord, the Stormcloaks, or this or that. I just want to play my character. And it's when the idea of Ragni came along. Now, Ragni was actually inspired after watching Avatar: The Last Airbender and Legends of Korra. No, she's not actually named after the novelization of Kyoshi's girlfriend in the Avatar books. I had just went to a random name generator, found one I could pronounce, used it before I even realised that it's the same name, different spelling, I think, of one of the Avatar characters in a previous book, like a prequels to Airbender. So that's how I went about that one. And I created it while I was still being able to play Centauros. And Centauros was no longer the Dragonborn. He could be an Imperial soldier and do exactly what he was designed to do, to fight and win the Civil War. But added bonus, he gets to join Team Dragonborn. So, another thing, since I based off this entire, multi-playthrough, kind of based off, the inspirations from Avatar, I wanted a Team Dragonborn. But you see, it doesn't really exactly work that way with Avatar and Skyrim, because in Avatar, most of the team they're benders, and they can teach the Avatar their own bending to improve the Avatar. Because if you don't know, the Avatar is basically a person that can bend 4 elements. Everyone else in the world is only born with either one element or no elements. So they need to learn from each person from, the lands of earth, lands of water, lands of fire, and of course they already know their own by then. They're born under one of the elements. And so their team pretty much teaches them. Not just the elements, but teaches them a lot. Couldn't really do that with Skyrim because, well, none of these guys can shout. Which brought me to an idea last night. I was like, maybe I could add something like Team Avatar? And it gave me an idea for another male character, because I'm a bit lacking of those. So, let's go and meet them real quick. And I've also didn't just add a new male character, but I kind of expanded existing characters to make them feel a lot more immersive and kind of give a lot more reasoning behind their name. Alrighty, so we're somewhere we shouldn't really be anytime soon. But I want to talk about these old bastards, right? The Greybeards. Now, Greybeards are monks. They're only monks in all of Skyrim. Now, a monk is sort of a way of life, right? So why are they called Greybeards? Well, it's not because they're old, because I imagine that these guys do similar things to what other monks do. So the Hindu, Buddha monks, either one of them will shave their heads. This is what they do to show that they are a monk of that faith. It's part of the culture too. So what about the Greybeards? Well, I believe the reason they got the name Greybeards is because they do not shave their beard once they take the oath of the way of the voice. Or once they're crowned, once the Greybeards walk around them and give them their own sort of welcome to the Greybeards speech instead of the Dragonborn one. They don't shave their beards. So imagine being a traveller up to 7,000 steps and you come across a man that's in his 60s that hasn't shaved his beard since he was probably 21. So, finally, I decided to change their beards a bit. Some of them are longer than they seem. Need some good lighting here, please. And these guys are the only ones in all of Skyrim that will have beards this sort of long. They don't really look that long in game, to be honest with you. So now, the Greybeards have a reason to be being called Greybeards, because their beards are extremely long. And those that have only ever seen them have seen the older ones. Here's one. So now Greybeards, which is the reason behind their name, because their beards are so long and it's a part of their culture and it's a part of their faith. Once they become a proper Greybeard, once they're anointed, they no longer shave their beards. So that's kind of why Ulfric's beard in the prequel was a bit short, because he was only recently anointed or recently kind of seen as a proper Greybeard and all that sort of stuff. So that's kind of the opening thing I really wanted to sort of expand upon the characters of the Greybeards. Why they're named Greybeards? And I just thought, okay, maybe they're named Greybeards because, well, they don't shave their beards. And people that seen them were like, holy shit, they got big long grey beards, and it just stuck. So now I've got to try and find this other character, and when I do, I'll he's a new dude. Here he is, outside chilling. So this is the new dude. I haven't had the other ones yet, but this will be the guy that's designed to follow the Dragonborn. It's sort of Team Dragonborn from Avatar. Like, he will teach the way of the voice and also, train the Dragonborn how to use their thumb. Now the Greybeards are monks of peace. They don't believe in using their gifts because, it's considered a crime ever since Jorgen Wingcaller discovered the way of the voice. It's to worship the gods, not man. But this will be tolerable because they are following... Oh, he'll be following the Dragonborn. And he will also use shouts. He's also a wizard. So it's good to have wizardry against dragons because they're moving aerial targets. And yeah, so he'll be allowed to leave Hrothgar and protect and serve the Dragonborn because it's, the Dragonborn's the only person that can be taught these gifts and use them for whatever means they want, where he cannot. But he's allowed to journey with the Dragonborn and see the end of Elduin. And once Elduin is defeated, he'll be required to return back to Hrothgar and continue his training as a Greybeard. Because, funny enough, there's only 4 Greybeards, and they're all elders. So where's the future generation? Because they just surely don't have the time to go teaching children or young men how to become greybeards. There's no second generation. I want this guy to be second generation, as he's been training for a good 10 plus years. And maybe a few others waltzing around that are young, that have just started. Maybe even a female greybeard, because no one's really ever seen the greybeards. So, like I said, when they do, they see the gigantic greybeards, and they call them greybeards. So they rarely ever see them. So maybe there's a female greybeard. Maybe the aura isn't called the greybeards to them. I don't know. Maybe they're just called monks of the way of the voice, or priests of the voice, or whatever the hell. But yeah, I want to add a lot more, at least 3 or 4 more greybeards waltzing around, younger and about his age, that kind of make the place feel like it's not going to die within the next 3 years. So some immersive things, expanding things, and adding a new male character that will serve the Dragonborn and shout alongside the Dragonborn. So it adds a bit more gravity to the story, but also a lot more immersion. And that's kind of what I'm doing with this story, is I want to expand upon it as much as I can to make it feel more authentic. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this buzzy friggin' video, but I just wanted to show you what I was doing, what I was thinking, and kind of how it all started, and the latest thing I've done for my project for the day that the Dragonborn does walk the 7,000 steps. He'll be here waiting. But we could be waiting for a while. Anyway, cheers for watching. Catch us later.